Well, we already have casinos in Colorado, and we could soon have legal sports betting, too.
Supreme Court said today states should determine whether they want to legalize sports gambling. Sean Boyd looking into what this could mean for Colorado. And Sean, what have you learned?
Dominic, a couple state lawmakers already have a bill in the works for next legislative session. This year's session just ended. That means Colorado could have sports betting as early as the 2019 Broncos season, and demand for it is high. It's estimated sports gambling is a $150 billion a year industry, with most of those bets right now happening offshore. Scores on the field could soon to bigger paydays off the field after the Supreme Court struck down a 1992 law that barred sports gambling nearly everywhere but Nevada, which was grandfathered in. The decision now opens the door to betting in any state that decides to allow it.
Walking down the street and, somebody wants to bet on the Broncos winning the Super Bowl, they shouldn't have to fly to Las Vegas to do it.
State Representatives Alec Garnett and Cole Wist are already working on a bill for next legislative session in January to not only authorize but regulate the new industry here.
To make sure that we have folks conducting business in our state that are reputable, and so that consumers are protected, but a light amount of regulation so that we're not overly restricting the activities.
The NCAA and major sports leagues argue the ruling will put the integrity of the games at risk and want Congress to step in with nationwide regulations. But for now, it will be done state by state, with Colorado among those likely to lead the way.
If we want to, generate a minimal amount of tax revenue to help meet the needs of our citizens, this is not a terrible way of doing it. We have lottery in every gas station in the entire state, and that requires no skill whatsoever.
Now, Garnett and Wist carried a bill 2 years ago to regulate fantasy sports gambling in Colorado, so they have a little experience in this area. They're going to use that bill as a guide. For example, fantasy sports gambling is allowed online, but you have to physically be in Colorado. Geocodes on cell phones don't allow anyone to place a bet from outside of the state. Again, and betting on college sports is also prohibited in fantasy sports betting. Again, this bill won't be introduced until next year. Next legislative